You've seen the spec sheets. You've heard the hype, but what if the TV everyone expects to win in 2026 actually gets beaten? In this video, we're breaking down future predictions across LG, Samsung, Sony, and more to forecast how OLED and Mini LED battles will shape the next generation of TVs. Stay until the end, because our predicted Hasson TV of 2026 might completely change what you think is worth buying. If this video helps you avoid overpaying, make sure to like and subscribe for more honest TV breakdowns. And comment below, do you watch TV in a bright room or a dark cinema setup? That one detail changes everything. Number 5. The budget gaming trap. That's actually getting better. What if I told you one of the cheapest TV categories in 2026 might also give you a true next-gen gaming experience? That sounds impossible, but that's exactly where the TV market is heading. The old idea that budget means basic is slowly disappearing, especially in the gaming space. And this is where brands like Hisense and TCL completely changed the conversation. A few years ago, features like 120 Hz gaming, VRR, and ultra-low input lag were locked behind expensive flagship TVs. But now, those same features are slowly filtering down into budget Mini LED models. The 2026 successors to TVs like the Hisense U8 series and TCL QM6 lineup are expected to push this even further, possibly bringing smoother 144 Hz gaming and more refined motion handling into the mainstream price range. Here's the real reason this matters. These TVs are not just about gaming numbers on a spec sheet. They use Mini LED backlighting, which is a huge upgrade over basic LED panels. Instead of a few large light sources, you get thousands of tiny LEDs that can dim and brighten in zones. That means better contrast, deeper blacks, and much higher brightness. For gaming, this translates into a sharper image where you can actually see details in dark scenes without the whole screen looking washed out. But let's be honest about the trade-offs. Even with all this progress, these TVs still sit below premium models in pure accuracy and processing. You may notice a bit of blooming in dark scenes, or slightly less refined motion compared to Sony or LG. But here's the key point for the price. The performance jump is massive. That's why these TVs are becoming the go-to choice for budget gamers who want maximum features without breaking the bank. Number 4. The gaming monster that might redefine smoothness. Now imagine a TV that doesn't just match gaming monitors, but starts competing with them. That's what makes this next prediction so interesting. The Samsung S95F QD-OLED isn't just another upgrade. It's shaping up to be a pure gaming weapon built for speed, response, and visual impact. At the core of this TV is QD-OLED technology, which already gives you perfect blacks and insane color depth. But the real evolution comes from brightness and refresh rate improvements. Samsung has been pushing OLED tech to become more competitive in bright rooms, and if trends continue, the 2026 model could deliver even higher peak brightness while keeping that pixel-perfect contrast OLED is known for. But here's where gamers will really pay attention: refresh rate and latency. We're talking about a potential leap toward 165 Hz support, which would be a huge jump for console and PC hybrid setups. Combine that with extremely low input lag and near-instant pixel response, and you're looking at a display that feels almost direct in gameplay. No delay, no blur, just instant reaction. Of course, there's a catch. Samsung still tends to avoid Dolby Vision, sticking with HDR10+ instead. And while picture processing is very sharp and punchy, it can sometimes feel a bit more aggressive compared to the natural tuning from Sony. So while this TV could easily be a gaming champion, it may not be the most cinematic option in the lineup. Number 3. The movie experience that feels like real cinema. But what if your priority isn't speed, but emotion? What if you want your TV to feel like a movie theater in your living room? That's where Sony enters the conversation with something completely different. The predicted Sony A95L2 represents something very specific: cinematic accuracy over raw specs. While it will likely use the same QD-OLED panel technology, Sony's real magic is never the panel. It's the processing behind it. Their cognitive processor XR is designed to analyze images in a more human-like way, focusing on depth, contrast, and natural balance, rather than over-sharpened artificial detail. This is why Sony TVs consistently stand out in movie performance. Skin tones look realistic instead of overly saturated. Motion feels smooth without that artificial soap opera effect. And upscaling is arguably the best in the industry turning older content into something that feels far closer to native 4K than you'd expect. For movie lovers, this is where Sony separates itself. It doesn't try to impress you with extreme brightness or flashy colors. Instead, it focuses on making everything feel believable. Combined with Dolby Vision support and strong motion handling, this creates a viewing experience that feels closer to a cinema than a display. But here's why it lands at number 3. It's not the fastest gaming TV, and it won't push refresh rates like Samsung or LG's gaming-focused models. It's also expected to come at a premium price. You're paying for refinement, not raw specs, and that's why it's not our top pick. 2. The spec sheet king that does everything right. Now we're getting into dangerous territory, the kind of TV that looks like it should automatically win everything. The LG G5 OLED Evo represents the absolute peak of what OLED technology could become in 2026. The biggest story here is brightness. For years, OLED was known for perfect blacks, but weaker brightness compared to Mini LED. That gap is shrinking fast. With next-gen OLED Evo panels, micro-lens array technology, and advanced thermal design, this TV could potentially reach brightness levels that completely change how OLED performs in bright rooms. That means you're no longer choosing between cinematic blacks and bright HDR impact, you're getting both. Deep shadows still look perfect, while highlights like explosions, reflections, and sunlight actually punch through the screen with real intensity. On top of that, this TV is expected to be a full gaming powerhouse. HDMI 2.1 across all ports, support for 4K at up to 144 Hz, VRR, and ultra-low response times make it one of the most complete gaming displays ever built. And then there's the design. LG's Gallery Series aesthetic allows it to sit almost flush against a wall like a piece of art. So, why isn't it number 1? Because perfection comes at a price. This TV will likely sit at the very top of the pricing ladder, and for many people, that extra performance won't feel proportional to the extra cost. And that opens the door for something more balanced. Number 1, the TV that wins without trying to be the best. Here's the twist. Nobody expects the best TV of 2026 might not be the most expensive one. Instead, it's the one that quietly delivers almost everything the flagship does, for significantly less money. The LG C5 OLED Evo is expected to be that TV. And the reason it wins isn't because it beats every category. It's because it doesn't need to. It delivers nearly identical OLED picture quality to the G series, with perfect blacks, incredible contrast, and stunning color accuracy. In real-world use, most people would struggle to tell the difference between the C5 and the flagship models in a normal room. That's the key. It's not about lab tests, it's about everyday viewing. Movies, gaming, streaming, everything still looks premium. Gaming performance is also expected to be top tier. Full HDMI 2.1 support, 4K high refresh rates, VRR, and ultra-fast response times make it just as capable as much more expensive models. The difference mainly comes down to peak brightness and design, not core performance. And that's why it wins. Because for the majority of people, the LG C5 is the sweet spot. It gives you 90-95% of the flagship experience at a far more realistic price. It's the TV that doesn't force you to choose between quality and value, it gives you both. The final conclusion. So when you step back and look at everything, the pattern becomes very clear. The TV market in 2026 isn't about one perfect product. It's about matching the right TV to the right person. Gaming power, movie quality, brightness, value, each category has its own winner. But if there's one takeaway from all of this, it's simple. The best TV isn't the one with the highest spec sheet. It's the one that fits your real life, your room, your habits, and your budget. Now I want to hear from you. Do you agree with the LG C5 taking the top spot? Or would you pick a different winner? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. And if this breakdown helped you, make sure you like the video and subscribe. More deep dive TV comparisons and 2026 tech breakdowns are coming very soon.